All right, so today the focus of my practice is going to be block practice versus random practice. So what's the difference? Block practice is where you do the same thing over and over again. I'm going to take my lie, I'm going to make it absolutely perfect. It's going to be the same lie every time. I'm going to choose a very similar pin, very similar distance. I'm just going to hit the same shot over and over and over again to try and master it. Random practice is the opposite of that. I'm going to make it as variable as possible. I'm going to try and drop my ball, see wherever it goes. Clearly that one's a horrendous lie sitting down. I'm going to go to one pin, then another pin, then another pin, then another pin, as many different distances as I can hit, as many different pin locations from as many different grasses as I can find. That way I'm exposed to as many elements as possible. And they both serve a different purpose. When I do block practice, I'm trying to get a baseline for my distance control, because it's going to be the easiest one to make solid contact. It's the one that's probably going to come off with the most natural distance. I'm not making any adjustments. I'm finding easy pin locations. Everything is very much in my control, and I'm just trying to get a baseline of how hard I'm trying to hit it, how the ball is going to check, how it's going to release. I'm trying to get my confidence up. If I didn't play for a long time or practice for a while, the first thing I would do is spend my first week or two doing pure block practice. Hit the middle of the face, get confident, feel good. After I do that and I get a good baseline for my distance, then I'm going to switch to random practice. I'm going to take my set of golf balls, I'm going to drop them, try and make it as variable as possible, and learn to deal with those lies. So that's going to be my goal for today. And again, both have a great purpose. Most of us just come out there and have block practice, but make sure you switch to random practice too, because that's what most simulates a golf course. All right, so now when I do my block practice versus my random practice, like I said, I always want to start with block practice first. I want to get a sense of how the grass is doing, how moist it is, how dry it is, how tall it is, how thin it is, how the greens are checking, what the trajectory is going to come out of the rough, all that stuff. I'm trying to calibrate in the beginning. After I get a calibration from hitting from perfect lies, that's when I want to switch it up and go to random practice. That's what I'm going to get on the golf course. Now, when I do that, I'm going to start weighing these things. It's not just totally random. A lot of people think short game is an art. It is and it isn't. Art really is just doing something thousands and thousands and thousands of time, accumulating experience, and then eventually your body knows how to react based on all the experience you've had. So the way you can speed up that process is by categorizing your lies. The way I like to do it is I come out here and say, okay, I already have my perfect lie. That's a baseline. I don't need to make any adjustment for that. But from there, I'm going to say, what is the rough I'm hitting in? Is it wet? Is it normal? Or is it dry? Is it thick? Is it thin? Or is it normal? Is it tall? Is it medium? Is it short? Is my ball sitting up? Is it sitting medium? Or is it sitting down? Is it no grain? Is it into the grain? Or is it down grain? Is it uphill? Is it flat? Or is it downhill? Is the ball above my feet, level, or below my feet? Are the greens firm, medium, or soft? Am I chipping into the grain, no grain, down grain? How long is it in terms of shot? Am I needing to cover trouble? Can I run it up, or is it more of a normal shot? I'm trying to think of all of these things before I hit a shot, which is a lot in the beginning. I know that's a lot. It sounded ridiculous when I was saying it. But after you do it a bunch of times, you go through that checklist, these things start to become automatic. You don't really need to think about them. Your brain just recognizes them. But if you can make it conscious in the beginning, you can start to catalog what's going on. Okay, this is wet grass. It's medium to tall. My ball is sitting down in the rough. There's no grain. Well, I know based on those elements, I'm going to have a lot of speed to get through this thing. More moist grass, thicker grass, taller grass. Having it be short-sided, I need to open up the club face elements like that are going to tell me I need a lot of speed so I can get under this ball, pop it up, and get it to the green, because if I don't, it's so easy to go underneath it like that and flub it nowhere. So when I'm looking through these elements, I'm trying to catalog it, and I might get it wrong. I might have missed something, and I might flub it like that. Then after that, I ask myself, well, what did I miss? Oh, the grass was more moist than I thought, or there was more grass behind the golf ball, or it was actually grainy and I didn't see it the first time. Whatever it is, when you mess it up, try and go back, try and say, was it a physical issue that caused it? Did I make a bad swing? Or did I miscalculate? You can start to make adjustments when you start to reverse engineer what happened. But if you go up and just randomly hit shots and you're not paying attention and you're not thinking about how you messed it up or how it went correct, you're never going to be able to adjust and learn, or it's going to take you years to get better versus taking months to get better. So if I learn and adjust, I can say, okay, I know that grass was a lot thicker than I thought. Let me add a lot more speed. And at least now I can start to get through that grass the way I want to. Again, it's not gonna be a perfect one shot than another. I've been practicing a lot recently, so it was easier for me. Do that for a few weeks. You're gonna mess up a lot of shots. I guarantee it. I messed up thousands of shots trying to figure it out as I've been shaking the rust on my game recently. But as you put in more repetitions, especially when you draw attention to what you're doing and cataloging these things, all of a sudden you're going to get way better, way faster, because again, you can start to isolate what's going on. Was it the thickness of the grass? Was it the moisture? Was it the grain? Whatever it is, every place you go is going to be different, and you can start to break down, okay, this is where it went wrong. Now you can start to adjust. More speed, longer swing, different club, open the face, close the face, more angle of attack, less angle of attack, however you want to play with it. You can start to isolate and adjust to what's going on. So again, block practice is always going to be your best baseline, because it's going to give you a baseline for everything. How you're hitting it, how you're attacking it, how hard you're hitting it, how it's spinning, checking, blah, blah, blah. And then as the lies become different, and as the pins get different, and as the distances get different, you then have a reference point to adjust. And again, you can add the salt, you can add the pepper, you can move to the North Pole, you can move to the South Pole. You have somewhere to go after you created your baseline and you create a catalog of what's going on. All right, so now that practice is done, let's kind of talk about it. So again, what I would do is, if I was more of a beginner, if I haven't been practicing a lot, if I took a break and was coming back, I would work exclusively on block practice. Find perfect lies, find clean numbers like 10, 20, and 30 yards away, go to very easy pin locations, and just learn to make solid contact with the golf ball. Feel the club go into the ground and back out of the ground. Feel like you're hitting the ball on the face, see the ball get up in the air, just get a sense of how far your ball is going, gain your confidence. After you gain your confidence, then we can start moving more into random practice. Here's how I would do it. I would do it in 3 steps. Number 1, block practice. Number 2, I would intentionally seek out some bad lies. I would try and control them and isolate it to one, and then I would make it totally random, now that I'm kind of thinking about it a little bit more. I would go and find your perfect lie like you did in block practice. Then I would tee the ball up high in the rough. One of those type of lies where if you swing and you go too far underneath it, the ball just falls down underneath into the earth, that type of lie. After you have the ball teed up, feel how much you need to open or close the face. Feel how much you need to get under and swing up on it so you don't swipe underneath the golf ball. And feel how much you want to swing in to out, because that helps you hit up and not swipe underneath it. So feel those things, learn to hit that shot. Then intentionally make your ball sit down a little bit in the rough. Not as deep as you possibly can, not the gnarliest lie, but make it sit down a little bit and see how much more dead the ball comes out, see how much harder you have to hit the golf ball, see if you need to adjust your club face or your angle of attack or the speed, and see what you need to do to get that ball out and up on the green. Once you can start to get your basic lies down like that, then seek out things that are even more diverse. Try and find extra wet and healthy and lush grass and see how that's making the club slow down, and then go to very dry, thin grass. Then if you can, try and find very dry dirt underneath the grass, so it's bouncing off and there's no dig, and then try and find very wet or moist or muddy ground to where underneath it, if you hit the ground underneath the grass, the actual dirt part itself, it's going to chunk out and take a divot, because it's a very different interaction of how this club is either going to bounce off the earth or how it's going to dig in there and get stuck. After you do that, then try and go into the grain and then down grain. Intentionally seek out those lies and see how they change, because down grain comes out pretty easily. The grass is moving with you. But into the grain, it's not just like rough. The grass wants to slow your club down dramatically. All that combed over grass is getting caught between your ball and the club face, which means you're going to have to hit it a lot harder and maybe adjust your technique in order to get that ball going the way you want. And just kind of rinse and repeat. Find some dirt, find some mud, find hard pan, find pine straw, go into the wood chips, go to the upslope, go to the downslope, ball above your feet, ball below your feet. Try and isolate each individual lie, hit a bunch of shots in each individual scenario, and then after you've kind of cataloged each single one, then go into full random practice. Take your golf balls just like I did, throw them into a random area, to a random pin location from a random distance, and find a way to get up and down. After you do it to a certain hole, go again to a different location, to a different pin, throw your balls, and then just let Mother Nature take its course. But you first need to catalog what the lies are, your ability to see them and recognize them, and then learning how to adjust to them so you always know what's happening and how you're going to react. That way you can make the correct decisions on the golf course. That's a huge part of course management. I can't tell you how often I see a player miss a green and they think their short game is bad, but it's not really that they have a bad short game or a bad technique. They just never took the time to adjust to the lie or to recognize lie, and they didn't even try and make an adjustment. They just made their normal chip shot or their normal pitch shot. And again, they try to fit a square peg into a round hole. If they knew that that ball was sitting down and they needed to open up the club face and they needed to create a much bigger swing with a lot more speed to power that thing out, almost like a small bunker shot, well, they'd have the opportunity adjusting to that lie. Or if they knew the ball was sitting up and they needed to catch it more on the upswing, they wouldn't flub underneath it so much. Or if the ball was sitting down in the fairway, maybe they would need to know, put that ball more back in my stance, lean the handle forward, lean my body forward, try and punch down as much as I can with a very steep angle of attack, and maybe then I won't flub it. So if they know how to adjust to each scenario, all of a sudden they can start hitting better shots. It's not that they lack the skill or they lack the hand-eye coordination. It's, again, they're trying to put a square peg into a round hole. And I see it every single day. And if you take the time to get familiar with those lies and experiment with how you're supposed to adjust, you'll be able to avoid those situations. So that's what I would take my time doing. It's the number one thing I recommend when it comes to short game. I always think it's kind of funny because everybody wants to learn a chipping technique. Everybody acts as if, we're going to have a perfect lie in the fairway to a middle pin 20 yards away, and this is my short game technique or my chipping technique. That situation happens very, very rarely. Normally we have an in-between number. We're going to have 13 yards or 27 yards. We're going to be on an upslope, or again, we're going to be in the rough, or it's sitting up or sitting down, or it's in an old divot, or it's a back pin, or it's a front pin, or it's going up and down a slope. The amount of things that can change our shot, especially around the greens, because that's where a course designer is going to put in the most obstacles, is around the green. The odds that we just have a straightforward chip shot or pitch shot is very low. I would say if I miss, over the course of several rounds, if I miss 50 greens, I think I'm probably going to have 3 or 4 straightforward pitch shots like that. And if I do have a straightforward pitch shot like that, I'm probably going to putt it or I'm going to hit a bump and run. I'm really probably not even using a pitching technique anyway. So it's kind of a weird scenario that people obsess over learning a perfect pitching and chipping technique when really the most important skill is lie recognition and the ability to adjust. Yes, should you learn a good basic technique? Of course, because you want to have something to bounce off of. If you have a basic technique that you use, then you can say, okay, I put the ball more forward or more back compared to what I normally do, or I'm leaning more forward, or I'm trying to hit more down or hit more up or swing longer or slower, whatever your adjustments are, you need a reference point. And to me, that's what it serves, but it's definitely not the end all be all. The ability to adjust and recognize how you need to adjust is the biggest and most important skill when it comes to short game, at least in my opinion. So anyway, hopefully that helps. Again, the way I would work on it is block practice, intentionally seek out individual, diverse and tough lies. And then after you can do that, step number 3, make it totally random, simulate the golf course, let Mother Nature take its course. And now you're practicing like you're really going to play.